Well, I'm Clarence Faulk. I came over to Ruston in 1931 to take charge of the Ruston Daily Leader. And we've been here through the Depression, the wars, and the recessions, and the inflations. And it's been a very interesting experience. I would not want to go through with it again, but we are here today and enjoying Ruston very much.
You don't think anything of it. Well, to see a woman walking down the street with slacks, pants on. I remember when they put one in jail just like that if it was worn pants.
Ruston is a peculiar town in many respects. Everybody says that about their hometown, I'm sure. But Ruston was started by a group of people who were interested largely in education and a place for their church.
In 1918, when there was a terrible flu epidemic, we had flu at this house, and across the street there lived a family, the Gills, who Mrs. Gill was even willing to put on a mask and bring food over here for us. But the people were so kind in that time.
People that came here originally came largely to Ruston for the schools. They had a Ruston College here at one time. In the early days, it amounted to about 2 years of high school, and then shortly after that, the Louisiana Tech was started. It came about because there was a group of people traveling through the country called the Chautauqua Circuit.
A lady who was interested in education made a speech at the old Ruston College in 1889 proposing that there be a Chautauqua in Louisiana. And that was like the Chautauqua in New York, a cultural center where teachers especially could gain some more education during the summer terms. And so the next year, it was decided that there would be a Chautauqua.
The past stretches out behind us, as the future does before us. You have to look both ways to make some sense out of it all, to get a feeling for the land and the people, where they've been and where they're going. At Heritage Financial Corporation, we've got memories that go back nearly 100 years. 100 years of working with and getting to know the people around here. And if there's one thing we've learned, when we work together, we can do anything. For all of us at Heritage Financial Corporation, and for all the people of Lincoln Parish, Union Parish, Morehouse Parish, Ouachita Parish, if we all work together, we can make it happen.
This was very apparent during the Depression days. We had meetings downtown around the railroad park down there where just to listen to somebody talk, what could be done. And of course, during the wartime, it brought the community close together. We had all sorts of talks about home gardening, how to raise chickens, first aid, and what to do in case of air attack and so on. And they organized what they call Louisiana Home Guard. I think all towns had that. And we drilled out on the athletic field with broomsticks, buckets, one thing and another. And but everybody in town was helping everybody else. I think the town has had a lot of colorful history. I think one of the most exciting things that happened in the bank was an attempted robbery by Bonnie and Clyde. I know I was walking one day in front of the James building, and there was a woman sitting in an open touring car there smoking a cigar. And I went down to the bank and I said, boy, if you want to see something funny, go up there by the James Company and see that girl smoking that cigar. And they said, my goodness, that could be Bonnie Parker. And I said, well, I had no idea. But a few days after that, they apparently got word that there would be an attempted robbery. And I was going into the bank and looked around, and on every rooftop around there was somebody with a shotgun. And in the bank, they had a balcony in the lobby. There were several fellas up there with high-powered rifles.
People. It all comes down to people. It was the character of individual people that built this area. All the assets of all our banks, money and offices and computers, all the world's things mean nothing if the right people aren't behind them. In Ruston and Farmerville, in Dubach and Bastrop, in Simsboro and Monroe, it all comes down to people. People helping their neighbors right here at home. That's been the idea behind Ruston State Bank and Heritage Financial Corporation for almost a century of service. All of us, we've helped make it happen. And we're still working to make things happen for our communities, for our families, and for our friends. Because that's the kind of people we are.
We have a good bank here that's grown very rapidly in the past few years. It was always a good bank, but the bank has always been one of the prime movers in the progress of the community, with a good representative bunch of businessmen and professional men on the board.
It's been a good, sturdy, substantial bank. It was a place that people could depend upon. You know, will it be here today and gone tomorrow?
Johnny Maxwell says that the prosperity of the bank goes right along with the prosperity of the town. The financial condition of this area is represented in the bank. And of course, the Ruston State Bank is the oldest state bank in the state of Louisiana.
Yes, the bank was built on the integrity of the grounds. And Howard Smith and Frank Monroe and Mr. Marbury and Mr. Johnny Maxwell, they're all so worthy, so fine.
I remember when the bank got the first woman working there.
Yes.
And she was Mrs. Ellen Moore in Conway, Arkansas. But she was the first woman. And then her sister started working at the bank. And she married a banker. It's a romance thing.
They have largely the leadership in the development of the community has been among the officers and directors of the board. That they were leading people in the community. They were anxious to see progress, and they were willing to give of their time and resources to see that it was done.
Ruston State Bank, Darbone Bank, the Bank of Morehouse, and Access Mortgage Lending are a reflection of the people they serve. You can't talk about one without talking about the other.
We lived in this house when even I was a very little girl. It was built for the Presbyterian Manse, and at that particular time they didn't have a preacher. And so we were fairly newcomers to Ruston, and I suppose Mr. Graham must have liked Papa. Mr. Graham was in the bank, and he must have liked Papa because he rented. I saw that the church rented the house to us, and so we lived in this house for a good many years.
Our banks have grown with our communities, from one office back in 1890 to the modern, wide-ranging institutions they are today. There have been a lot of changes in banking along the way, and we pioneered most of them. When we hear that nobody's ever done it before, we don't take that as a warning. We take it as a challenge. And because of that attitude, we've built the base of resources it takes to handle any need there is in our hometown, right here at home. The strength it takes to make it through tough economic times.
The bank here has gone out as far as they could always to assist in loans to start businesses, to open subdivisions, to get an inventory for a store, to help a man buy new machinery for his equipment. And of course then they provide loans for automobiles, to build churches. That's one of the things here that Ruston State Bank is very proud of.
People get, back in those days, of course, there wasn't any relief. You just had to, so they would help feed each other and all that, just look out. But they got by though, and Didn't have to burn the town down and things like that.
They would cooperate with, for instance, the Chamber of Commerce when they search for new industry or matters of interest or increasing the population and making this an attractive place to live. The bank is in there to furnish money and to furnish leadership.
Of course, they couldn't just give them money, but they were easy as they could be on them.
For instance, Lawrence Glass Company out here came in because of the natural gas and the pure water and ample labor force. You know, we have the smallest percentage of unemployment in Lincoln Parish of any parish in the state of Louisiana.
With people like we have here, hard times build character and growth, industrial growth, commercial development. Businesses large and small have taken hold at the roots and grown because of the quality of our workforce and the loyalty of our customers, our neighbors. All the people who own the businesses, run the plants, work in the fields, we owe them a lot. And they can count on us through thick and thin, because as Northeast Louisiana grows, so do our banks. Our customer success is our success. Their prosperity is our prosperity.
I still think it's one of the best places to live that anybody could pick out. You feel that you can make friends here, and you can feel safe. You know that if you need help, you get it. Because they are very helpful people, and they're good people.
When we were little girls, we used to sit on the front porch and on the floor on the front porch and tell ghost stories.
And play jacks.
And play marbles.
The jacks you play.
And we'd play under the street light in front of the house. So we have many happy associations, and we are fortunate in that we have lived in one place so many years of our lives.
Northeast Louisiana. We're lucky to live and work in such a wonderful area. A lot to be grateful for. If you don't love the country around here, you're just not keeping your eyes open.
Good people who are trying to raise a family and to teach their children the proper outlook on life.
People we come into contact with are really cultured people who go to church.
And go to the bank.
And go to the bank, yeah. And who are just nice people. And we think a whole lot of them.
It all comes down to people. People who respect what's gone before, and people with hope for the future. Sure, they've seen hard times, even harder times than we have now. But they know tough times don't last. But tough people do.
They have tried everything in the world here during the early days of the Depression to try to bring money into the grassroots of the area. The railroad sent agricultural leaders into here, where they talked the farmers into planting watermelons. They sold the Dixie Queen by the hundreds of thousands, shipped them into Chicago. And then the bank helped sponsor the peach business. Growing peaches was a kind of a visionary thing, because it's 5 or 6 years before you get the first peach. And they got a group of people together and formed the Lincoln Parish Peach Growers Association. And they began planting their orchards. And today, of course, we have a peach festival.
The people here are worth getting to know because they've got so much to give. Our people are generous to their neighbors. You can see it all year long in the many activities that bring hometown people together to celebrate the good feeling of helping, working, sharing, just plain living. There's an awful lot to feel good about around here. That's something else about this area and the affiliates of Heritage Financial Corporation. People here know how to have fun. One of the things we're proudest of is the way we're training the next generation. Not just in our fine elementary and secondary schools, but also in higher education.
The Chautauqua grounds were where they had plays and recitals, and it lasted for about a month during the summertime. But Chautauqua had such a reputation in Louisiana, and it was a meeting place for the Teachers Association. They met here every summer on the Chautauqua grounds, and all this put together was why they selected Ruston for Louisiana Tech.
It has been so connected with education. The bank, there are other banks in Ruston, and we value them, we appreciate them, but the Ruston State Bank has an eminence, we feel.
At Louisiana Tech University and at Grambling State University, we've got two distinguished institutions, nationally famous, where tomorrow's leaders are studying the whole spectrum of disciplines in an environment of innovation and excellence and beauty. Shaping and molding the students of Louisiana and of the nation, teaching the next generation, building character and a sense of achievement, the feeling that nothing is impossible if you just work hard enough at it. Passing on to the future generations the heritage of this area. We're all still learning every day. Learning about life, learning about our neighbors, and learning how to do our jobs even better than we ever have before. What we are today comes from the way we work. But what we do today shapes the way we're going to be.
Of course, Ruston and the bank both have grown tremendously. And it's been made a lot of progress, and I think that Ruston is still a good town to live in. I like it. I think it's a town where people still have some ideals that they try to live up to.
But I think that Louisiana is made of sturdy stock. And I think that whatever is presented to us and we have to live with, we're going to live with it as gracefully and graciously as one can expect.
Ruston State Bank, Darbone Bank, the Bank of Mortgages, Access Mortgage Lending, all the people of Heritage Financial Corporation and Northeast Louisiana are strong partners in progress. We have all weathered some very tough times, ourselves and our banks. And we know that these hard times are not yet over. There are still many obstacles to overcome. But with our new state leadership and the renewed spirit of determination in all the people of Louisiana, we are confident that our banks and our communities will continue to grow and prosper. We are limited only by ourselves, our willingness to work hard for a common goal. We are linked together for a brighter future. And that brighter future, if we want it, is upon us right now, this very minute. Because we've decided, all of us at Heritage Financial Corporation, we've decided we can make it happen. And together, that's exactly what we're going to do.